Okay, on to round 29. We're going to go to white yarn this time, and actually what we're going to end up doing is putting in overlay stitches on each side of these blue ones. So to start out, we can't join in either of these. We're actually going to join out just a few in front of it. So if you take any one of your V's here, the right hand one, we want to join the yarn in the 5th stitch before this overlay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll join right in there. Back loop only. Join with the chain stitch, which will count as our first single crochet. So we're going to do single crochets over to here, 4 of them specifically. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now our next stitch is going to be the overlay. We're going to do a double treble, so yarn over 3 times into the white stitch in front of the one we did last time. So we're going to do on each side of the blue ones. That's our double treble. Skip a stitch, do one into the blue, and now we'll do another overlay on the other side. So a double treble, yarn over 3 times, go into the white camel stitch between the 2 blue ones, now skip a stitch, and to get over to the other side, we need 7 more. So 1, 2, 3. These are all single crochets into the back loop only. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now this leaves us space to do the 2 white overlay stitches around the blue one. So double treble, yarn over 3 times, come back into the same stitch as the last one. This is the one in between the 2, and I'm sorry, I actually did not get the whole stitch, so let me start this again. I split it there. Yarn over 3 times, into the one in between. That's the one I told you we needed to make sure we had in the last round. We want to make sure we always have that 1 stitch in between. Now skip 1 single crochet into the blue overlay, and another double treble on the other side. So we're going to go into the white stitch that comes after the blue. I don't know why, I apologize again, I just keep grabbing these wrong. So 1, 2, 3. Grabbing the whole stitch, not just part of it. Or the whole loop, rather. We're gonna finish out that double treble, skip 1, and now to finish the repeat, 9 more single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now unfortunately we started at a rather random point. We're going to finish each repeat at a very random point. So to check to see if we're in the right place, here's the overlay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you notice the next stitch is the 5th in front, and that's where we want to start. So for this round you're going to be doing these double treble overlay stitches on each side of the blue. To start in the 5th stitch before the blue overlay, 4 single crochet, a double treble that goes into the stitch before the blue, skip 1, a single crochet into the blue, skip 1, a double treble into the white stitch before the blue, skip 1, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochet in between. Then we do the overlays again, an overlay into the one before, that's the one in between, skip 1, single crochet, an overlay into the one after, skip 1, and now 9 single crochet to finish out the repeat. So 4, 7, and 9, skipping 1 for each overlay, and you're doing overlays before and after all of the blues. So I decided to start this round before I started filming so that you could see the repeat before trying to attempt it. It's not really difficult, it's just sort of hard to explain because there are lots of overlay stitches here, but like I said, really not a very difficult round. Alright, so here's the repeat. If you notice, like I said, we got a lot of overlay stitches, so these are going to be double and treble crochet and double treble crochet, and we're just going to do this little pattern where we go into the front loops of the blue, green, or coral stitches from the previous round. Other than that, we've got a bunch of single crochet and increase and some single crochet. So this is what it should look like, one repeat, and now we'll go through it step by step. I'm already joined in here obviously because I'm starting my second repeat, but if this were to be your first one, you want to join the yarn in the last white front post stitch of one of these V's. So find any of the V's in your work and join in on the last or leftmost white overlay stitch, this front post here. So that was where you would join with a chain stitch, which would count as your first single crochet. So that's 1, and we want 2. So 2 single crochet. Now we're going to start the overlay stitch. So the pattern is going to be a double, treble, and double. And what we're going to do is do the first double into the blue stitch here, that front loop, the next one into the green front loop, that's the treble, and the third one into the blue front loop. Just remember when you're doing this to move over with each stitch. Don't try to like do all of them in the same one. We want to use 3 stitches up for the repeat. So again, it's going to be into the blue, then the green, then the blue. So the first one's a double, so yarn over once and go into the blue front loop, finish the stitch. Now a treble, so yarn over twice, go into the next green front loop. Remember to move over 1. Now we're going to do a double, so yarn over once and go into the next blue front loop. So there you notice we have the 3 stitches, nothing's trying to overlap, they're just going 1 into 1. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 3 stitches because we have them here instead, so we don't need these white ones. And we're going to do 1 single crochet. Alright, now we're going to do the next one here for this center group of 3 overlay stitches. We're going to go double, double, treble, double. So into the blue, into the blue, then into the pink, then into the blue. So the easiest one to forget to move over here is this first one. Make sure you don't go into this next blue front loop because that's actually that's in line with the single crochet we just did. So you want to skip this one, go into the blue front loop here. That's our double. Now yarn over 3 times and go into the next pink front loop. Now we're going to do another double, so yarn over once and go into the next blue front loop. So you notice there are 3 overlay stitches. we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3 back here, and do a single crochet. Sort of lock those down. All right, next up, same as this first group, double, treble, double. So yarn over once, go into the blue front loop, yarn over twice, go into the next green front loop, then yarn over once and go into the next blue front loop. There it is. Once again, we're going to skip the 3 stitches in the back and start our single crochets, only this time we don't just want 1 like we did before, we want a total of 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. After that, we want an increase. So 2 in the same back loop. Now to finish it out, remember we want to get all the way over to here to this final white front post. We need 5 more single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you notice, I'm all set up to start my next repeat in the in the last front post stitch there. So here it is again. You see it looks just like the first one we did. The pattern is, once again, the count. Start in a front post here, the final or 4th one of one of these V's, the white one. 2 single crochet. We're going to have a double, a treble, and a double going into the blue, green, and blue stitches. Skip 3 stitches and do a single crochet to lock those down. Now we're going to have a double, double, treble, double. We're going to go into the blue, the coral, the blue. Skip 3 stitches, single crochet to lock those down. Got another one just like the first group, so it's a double, treble, double into the blue, green, blue, or blue, yellow, blue. I know I keep calling this one either yellow or green. I call this one coral or pink, but I think you get the idea. So we do these 3, skip the 3 behind, single crochet in the next stitch, and actually we're going to end up with 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That brings us to our increase right here. Finish off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more single crochet. That should bring you to the front post we started in for the first repeat. So that 8 times around, and then we'll go on. Okay, so we're on to round 31. You can see I've done the first repeat again so that you can see the pattern before we go through the actual count. You're going to want to go ahead and attach your coral yarn again. What you see, we're going to do a bunch of single crochet, actually 11 of them. Then we're going to do an overlay, this double treble here between the 2 groups we did the last time. We're going to sneak an increase here in the middle, do another double treble here, and finish it out with 11 more single crochet. So it's kind of nice, it actually works out pretty evenly for this one. So going through it step by step, you want to attach your yarn in the second stitch of an increase. So those increases are inside these V's, they're right in the midpoint. So go ahead and attach your yarn using a chain stitch into the second of the increase. So that would be where you join right here. Remember that chain counts as your first stitch. So to do this, we're going to start with 11 single crochet. So that's the first one where you joined. Now 11 total. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you'll notice the 11th one is going to be that last that last overlay stitch from this first group. So that's 11. So that brings us right up to the gap, the first gap between these groups. So for the overlay stitch, we're going to do a double treble, and we're going to go into that yellow or light green front loop down here. So yarn over 3 times. From bottom to top, go into that front loop of the yellow stitch, and now finish your stitch. We're going to skip one and go into this next group. So for this middle part, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Now in the long one, we're going to put our increase. So that's 2 in the same. And then 1 more single crochet. That'll bring us to the second gap between our groups from the previous round. And we're going to do another double treble. So yarn over 3 times, come into the front loop of the yellow stitch right below, and finish the stitch. Skip the one in the back, and now, just like we did to get into it, we've got 11 stitches to get back out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. You'll notice 11, my last stitch for this repeat, goes into the first stitch of the increase. That leaves the second stitch open for our next repeat. So there we go. We have 11 to come in. We have these 2 front posts, or these 2 rather, I'm sorry, just to overlay, just double treble, 11 out, and we've got the increase in the middle. So here, let me go back to the very first one where I joined in, and I'll do the count with you one more time. So join in the second stitch of an increase, 11 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're going to do a double treble, so yarn over 3 times into the front loop of these yellow stitches, skip 1, 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet. Next we have our overlay, so a double treble again into the yellow front loop, skip 1, and 11 single crochet out so that you can get back to the second stitch of the increase. That's it.